Gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the books because CXC is still happening.
Bruh.
We're all in this together. CSEC is still happening, but you are an all-star. And I see that. Do you believe that? Have you received that? Balls in your court. But seriously, take it from me, who was pretty much hoping and praying, not actually, but hoping last year that COVID-19 would stop CXC. Doing that is just wasting your time because
that now go happen. That will never happen. You will never live to see that happen.
However, to stop wasting your time, you can keep on watching how to actually, literally excel at CSEC and CAPE this year despite coronavirus and show the Caribbean Examination Council that you, my friend, aren't just a conqueror, but you're more than a conqueror. Period.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day.
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nastasia. My subscribers can call me Nas. Thank you for clicking on this video. My channel is all about inspiration, edification, fun, and good vibes. So if you're so inclined, consider subscribing and make sure you also have my notification bell on so you don't miss any of my uploads, because why would you want to do that? Struggling to comprehend why you'd want to do that. Question of the day, my friend. As you approach CSEC and CAPE, what would you say is the subject that you are the most confident in, and also the subject that you are the least confident in? Comment below and I'll be praying specifically for the subjects that you are the least confident in. Trust me, prayer goes a long way, and if you feel like you need some little extra prayer, I suggest you pause this video right now and comment that down below. This video will be broken up into 6 parts. So firstly, I will be addressing language students, specifically Spanish, French, honestly, sorry. I also will be addressing anybody that's doing Caribbean studies, so if you're in upper 6, just stay tuned. I also contacted 3 of my friends who did well in both CSEC and CAPE business subjects and asked them to give me their best advice for business students. So if that applies to you, you know what to do. I also contacted my friend who actually placed first in the region, the entire Caribbean, for CAPE Sociology, and asked her to give me her best advice. So if you're doing Soci, honestly, you know what to do. Just keep watching. Thirdly, or is it 4th? Anyways, nextly, is that a word?
Bruh.
Furthermore, I also contacted my friends who did the sciences and asked them to give me their best advice for CSEC and CAPE science students. If that applies to you, keep on watching. And lastly, if you're simply just a student that is unmotivated and confused as to why you still have to do CSEC under a pandemic, keep watching. Just keep watching. If this video encourages you in any way at all, do not leave without hitting the thumbs up button, and don't be selfish, don't be that guy. Make sure you forward this video to all of your friends and classmates who are also doing CSEC and CAPE so that they can be a scholar just like you will be after you watch this video and do what I'm say.
Period.
If you're lazy and only want to watch the parts of the video that actually apply to you, then I'll be leaving the timestamps in my description box. But I suggest you just watch the whole thing because you probably need all the encouragement that you can get.
Bruh.
Now, for my dear Spanish students or French, my best advice to you is literally just do not depend on the classroom. Get close to your teacher. Not in a weird way, but get close to your teacher, have them on WhatsApp, make sure them know you on a personal level, but don't depend on them. Link them for resources, link your friends for resources, but don't depend on them. I did Spanish for both CSEC and CAPE, and I got a 1 for all those 3 years, 2 of which were straight A profiles, and I can honestly say it's because I did not depend on the classroom. I was constantly ingesting the language. At one point, I was ingesting Spanish so much that I started to full-on dream in the language, and my teacher was like, that's a good sign because it means I was so immersed that even in my subconscious, Espanol, right?
Hola, ¿cómo está?
So make sure that you're ingesting the language in every way outside of class, because the teachers will teach you so much and no more, and it's not your native language, you know, so it's something that you have to constantly be feeding your brain and training your brain to hear, so it can actually stick and you will know how to apply it. I actually made my previous video all about this. I went a little bit more in depth in why and how I am learning Spanish, so I'll leave that linked below. If you're serious about the language and you want to do well, I suggest you watch that video and hear the rest of my tips where that is concerned. We're currently in March. I don't know if CSEC is going to get pushed back like last year, but I know that usually you have Spanish orals first. Orals, when I was doing CSEC and CAPE, was actually one of my strong points. So if any of you are like seriously in need of help, just DM me on Instagram. I will be willing to actually just like set up a one-on-one Zoom session with you, and I can go through some questions with you, guide and pronunciation and all of that. And especially if you're doing CAPE Spanish, I actually have some past paper questions that I can give you and some oral questions that I can practice with you. So if you're interested in that, just DM me on Instagram and let me know if you want that extra help or if you know anybody that does. And yeah, that's my best tip for Spanish. Get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the book. For the Caribbean studies students, okay, the first thing you need to do after you finish this video is you need to go and follow Chad Ratteray on Instagram. He is constantly doing Caribbean Studies marathons. I did it with him last year and they were actually really helpful. He gave you past papers, answer sheets that he sent to your emails, and he actually went through them with you, went through the answers, discussed the answers. They were really helpful and he's like always doing them. So just follow him on Instagram and keep up to date with his posts. And also, I happen to have some resources where that is concerned. If you want the Caribbean Studies textbook, I mean, we're in March, so I figure that by now you'd probably already have it and be studying with it. But if you don't and you want it, I have the PDF version that I can send to you. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I also have a document where it's basically like a summarized version of all the Caribbean Studies modules that I'll be happy to send to you. If you're interested, just send me a DM on Instagram and I will forward that to you. And yeah, so follow Chad Ratteray and message me for the resources. For Caribbean Studies, it's all about reading and essay practice. You have 4 essays to write in 3 hours.
Good morning, class.
Good morning.
Today we are taking the final exam. I hope y'all use the study guide.
Yeah, study guide.
Because none of those questions are on this test. Now,
I know it sounds crazy, but it is doable. I did it, of course, not for the actual exam because of COVID, it was only paper 1, but I did it for the mock exam and it was hard, but it was doable and I did it, right? So you need to just make sure that you are constantly practicing essay writing, have the points in your head from even before you go into the exam, so that when you go into the exam, you're not scrambling and wasting time, too much time, trying to scramble for points in your head, but you can start writing and have more time to actually spend developing those essays, because obviously you get more points for how well you can actually develop those essays and support your points. Get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the books. Now, if you're doing business subjects, my friend's best advice for you is do a lot of practice questions. Make use of the past papers because the exposure to various questions will help you. Trust me, they will. Specifically the ones that deal with case studies. Practice those because they will help you feel more comfortable answering the actual exam questions. Make sure you learn all the necessary terms and memorize at least 2 examples for each. When you're studying, start with the more difficult chapters first and the chapters that you don't like, the topics that you don't like, and work your way down. For accounting and economics, make sure you keep a formula sheet. You should know why I did not do econ. Revise your notes frequently, if not daily, at least weekly, and do further research on terms that you're iffy about and seek examples from early, muy temprano, okay? Link your teachers for help, or literally link YouTube. I mean, this is basically a free university. Like, this is the only university that you don't have to pay for. So make use of it. Business subjects require discipline because it's a lot of reading and comprehension, so make sure that you're constantly practicing. For accounts, in the actual exam, a lot of students may worry that their balance sheet won't balance. If this happens, don't freak out. It could mean that you omitted something from the question, or you made some error with the figures. So literally just complete the rest of the paper, and if you have time, come back to it. And if you go back to it and you still don't see any error, still don't freak out. You will still get some amount of points for the working out, because they will see what you were trying to do and they will see where you went wrong, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world. You will not fail the exam, okay? Accounting takes focus and practice. Don't overthink the question and mess up in your response. It's not literature. Do not think outside of the box for the question. Read the question and answer exactly what it tells you to do. Don't do any more. Don't do any less. Just do what it say. Okay? You gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the books. All right, now it's time to address the sociology students. Make sure you listen up carefully to this one, because this girl plays first in the Caribbean.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
And she's giving her best advice. So if I were you, I'd make notes right now. Okay, so her best advice is read widely from various textbooks. Don't depend on one textbook. Just don't do it. And if you can't have access to the textbooks, then link online sources. You must have that. Your friends might even have PDFs to the textbooks that you don't have and can't buy physically. So link your friends for that as well. It's really important in the exam that you support all the points that you make. The more citing and support you have, the easier it will be for the marker to follow your arguments and thereby agree with it and grant you your marks when they can see
reason. What was the reason?
Study sociology topic by topic, but also learn how the topics relate to each other. Sometimes the theories can actually just be linked together. Find these links and include them in your essay so it can be well written. For your essays, you will need to simply have 3 points. No more. 3 simple points that you develop well and support with evidence, and evaluate all your points. Do not leave out criticisms out of your essays, because that is how you get your marks for evaluation. This is really important, guys. For example, and write this down if you want, if you're writing on the Marxist view on education, which is that they teach us a hidden curriculum, which is where they use education to train us as proletariats how to work for the capitalists, then if you say that, make sure you also combat that by saying that there's not only the hidden curriculum, but education also gives you an opportunity to get your degree and upgrade yourself to actually become the boss. So combat every point that you make, and anything you say, criticize it, because that is how you get your points for evaluation. This cannot be stressed enough. Take it from the star girl herself. And in the exams, guys, she says after reading the questions, don't just start writing. You might get lost along the way. Just spend a couple minutes planning out the essay in your head. You can even just jot it down with a pencil on the side of the paper. Plan out the essay in your head. Do not cut your points short in the essays. You're getting marks for how you develop your points. They're trying to see if you're a great writer as well, and if you know how to develop your points well and your arguments well. So don't cut yourself short. Develop your points properly. Of course, you have 3 essays and must say 2 hours or so. You don't have all the time in the world, but just balance your time. Don't spend too long on one essay. Before you even go in the exam, work out how much time you need to spend on each essay, and when you go in there, make sure you have a watch, and just time yourself and stick to the time and just use the time wisely, developing your points. Don't have 10 points and only develop 1. Have 3 points and develop all of them, okay? Also, you're literally doing Caribbean sociology, so a very important point for you as well is make sure in your essays that you include relevant examples from the Caribbean. Link every point that you make to a situation that's actually evident in a known Caribbean country. This will grant you marks as well. As for studying, you won't be able to remember everything, but she highly suggests that you at least remember the theories and the theories that they are associated with, and make sure that you have a general understanding or a basic understanding of each theory. Try to have a summary of what each of them said, and know a respectable amount of each theory, okay? Finally, I just said it, manage your time in the exam. Soci is also just something that you remember well if you know how to explain it. So have study buddies that you can explain it to and have discussions with, and this will help your memory big time. Gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the game. I gotta get your head in the books. You know you're doing science. Make sure you listen up right now and get out your notepad, because my friends gave me their best advice for science students. They said, do the labs as you get them. They are worth 20% of your grade. Make sure you get the best possible grade in them, because it's really important that you're already going into the exam with 20%, right? Study your labs properly, because they're gonna come back in the exam. Ensure you understand them and how they relate to the topic that they come under. Walk into the exam in the best position possible. Also, try your best to study for tests so that when the exam time comes, everything is already familiar to you. Do not wait. Guys, do not wait until last minute. You're going to be overwhelmed. If you're watching this video right now, we're in March. You have time. Get your head in the game. Gotta get your head in the books, okay? CXC is still happening. After you do a topic, do practice questions and ask your teacher to mark it during school time so that by exam time come around, you can look in your past paper book for corrections, etc. Also, just make sure you know a respectable amount about every topic, because the worst thing that can happen to you in that exam, my friend, is you go in there and the one topic that you missed class for or you slept through comes back to haunt you. So make sure you're studying up everything, okay? It's important to cover at least a little bit of everything when you're studying. Also, a big tip, she says, is know the big scientific jargons. As long as it makes sense, and the more scientific you sound, then the more likely you are to get full marks. Don't waste time studying things you know can be answered with common sense. Memorize content and things common sense can't help you with. That way you'll find yourself less overwhelmed in the actual exam. Especially for CAPE bio, you need at least a month and more to study thoroughly. So we're in March, you have time, get your head in the books, and don't study the topics independently. Look at how the kidney, the brain, the heart, the teeth, whatever connects, and link that in your studies. Don't study like you're studying for an exam. Look at it as learning something new and edifying yourself so that you're more encouraged to spend time doing it. Okay? Study the topics that you hate and that are harder first, especially if you're crunched for time. It will make your burden a lot lighter. Take it from the survivors themselves, okay? Keep revising constantly, because it helps to cement the information, because swatting, it will help, but not in the long term, okay? Due to COVID, I don't know if the date for exams will get pushed back like it did last year, but don't watch that. Try and prepare as if it's still for May or June, because procrastination will come back to haunt you. Take it from me, who is still currently trying to free herself from her slavery to procrastination, waiting for Moses to come and part the Red Sea and free me and deliver me from the slavery of procrastination. Guys, it's a serious thing, and it reached all the way, but if you can avoid it, please avoid it. Right? For chemistry, ensure to practice questions, because you may read a chapter and think you get it, but then when you get the actual question, you don't know how to apply it. So make sure you study along with practice questions, and when you're stuck, go back, look deeper into the things that you're not sure about, and know them from early so that in the exam, you're not stuck wondering if you're about to fail. Don't have time for that. Hey, you there. Hey, you there, you there. Hey, you there. I see you over there. I'll watch you. Okay, if you're there and you're unmotivated and you feel like you're confused, you don't know why you still have to do CSEC, stop for a second, breathe, and soak in the fact that you're literally doing CSEC under a pandemic. You're literally making history. Like, your name is being written in the history books right now. Like, just let that soak in for a second. You're already a star because you're doing CSEC during a pandemic. I did it last year. My set of people were the guinea pigs for it. We survived. You will survive. Promise you that you will survive. You have to believe that you'll survive. You have to believe that you're more than a conqueror. Make sure you have a support system, accountability partners, study buddies. They will help you. Do a lot of pay paper 1 past papers, because we all know that they repeat basically everything. So if you practice out of past papers for paper 1, you're already giving yourself a head start, trust me. And do them early so you can actually like send them to your teacher, get feedback, get answers if you don't already have an answer sheet. And don't feel afraid to actually question your teacher about the answers that they give you, because they can make mistakes as well. So if they give you an answer wrong and you don't understand why, ask them to explain why, so that you don't just know that it's B, but you know why the answer is B. You see what I'm saying? And just make sure you get close to your teachers. Have them on WhatsApp and link them when you need help. Like link them from no, and ask them for resources, because the teachers have resources. Ask your friends. I guarantee that right now you have a friend who has resources hiding from you. Link them down, call them phone, tell them say, no say you have the resources, you have the past papers and you don't want to give me, and hunt them down for it, because they have them. They know about the marathons that you need. Make sure you access every marathon that you can. Online marathon, they're happening. I mean, just ask people for them now more than ever. If you have all of your school groups on WhatsApp muted, that's fine, but make sure you're reading them now more than ever, because resources are being sent in them, PDFs, past papers, people are discussing answers, people are like, just make sure that now more than ever you're actually staying active in your school groups, because people are sending resources left, right and center. And if you get resources, don't keep them to yourself. Just like you shouldn't keep this video to yourself, but you should share it with all of your friends and classmates doing CSEC and CAPE. Share anything that you think can be helpful or encouraging with your friends, because you're not doing the exam alone, you're in it together. Okay guys, you spent 5 years going through it together. Don't leave them hanging now when you know, so you have the resources literally right there that you can forward to them. Share the resources and link your friend them, because they have the resources. Tell them say you know say them have it, and them hide it because them have it. Okay, and also just understand that CSEC is a big deal, but it's not the biggest deal. Like, it's not the end of the world. You will survive. I feel like when we're not in like below 5th form and like CSEC is coming up, they make it seem like this monster, and it really isn't. It's not as serious as they make it out to be. Do your best and strive to get those distinctions, strive to do well and surprise yourself, but just know that it's not the end of the world. Do your best, and if your best is a 2, then don't envy your friend 1, because your best was a 2. Own it like it's a 1.
Period.
Okay? So just do your best, and only your best is good enough. Make sure you pray before, during and after the exam. And by before, I don't mean it in the actual exam room. I mean right now, from March, or whenever you're watching this video, start praying from now. Pray through your studying, ask God to strengthen your memory. Pray even just during the exams, and pray after. Pray very specific prayers. Don't be like, God, I want a 1 in Jesus' name, amen. You can do that, but I personally, when I was doing my exams, I make sure I pray very specific prayers. For CXC especially, a lot of the times errors are made. The persons that mark your papers are human. Humans make mistakes. You need to pray over your exams. Pray that they fall in the hands of the right examiners. Pray that, especially if you do subjects that are a lot of like essay writing, pray over them. Pray, say whoever marking it, that they understand where you're coming from, and they will give you the marks you deserve. Don't waste your money doing no remark or whatever. Pray and cancel that from now, because you don't spend your money already on school fee and on exam fee. Don't make sexy Rabio. Just pray over your papers. Pray leading up to the results day. Like, that's what I did. And just trust that even during the exam, God will come through for you. You got this. You got that distinction already in the bag. So just trust it, trust it, trust it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful. If it was, hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. And remember, get your head in the game. Gotta get your head in the books, okay? Sexy is